The light heavyweight title has a new king, but he might be out before his reign truly begins. Carlos Ulberg pulled off a miracle at UFC 327 by knocking out Jiri Prochazka to claim the belt, but the cost was massive. We are learning that Carlos Ulberg suffered a torn ACL during the fight and had to undergo surgery just days after his victory. This leaves the 205-pound division in absolute chaos once again, as we wait to see how the UFC handles the recovery timeline.
Your brand new iPhone deserves the best protection, and the iLume 3-pack screen protector plus 3-pack camera lens protector has you covered. Don't take risks with your iPhone. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
The action is moving to Canada this weekend for UFC Winnipeg, and it is all about redemption and hometown glory. Gilbert Burns is heading to the Great White North to take on the dangerous local favorite Mike Malott in a massive welterweight headliner. Gilbert Burns is looking to prove he still has elite gas in the tank, while Mike Malott is aiming to protect his home turf and secure a life-changing win in front of his fans. The main card in Winnipeg is also bringing some serious heat in the bantamweight division that you cannot afford to miss. Jourdain is stepping into the cage against Phillips in a clash of styles that promises to be a barn-burner. Jourdain is riding high on momentum, while Phillips is desperate to stop his losing skid and prove he belongs on the big stage. Looking back at the title fight fallout, new updates confirm just how much pain Carlos Ulberg endured to become a champion. Carlos Ulberg fought through a torn ACL and significant tibia damage, showing an insane level of toughness that will go down in the record books. It is a legendary performance that has everyone talking about what comes next for the belt. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe with notifications turned on so you never miss another update. In the UFC, they say the only constant is change, but at 205 pounds, that change is starting to look a lot like a curse. Can you believe it? We have a brand new light heavyweight champion, Carlos Ulberg, and before the confetti even hit the floor in Miami, he's already heading for the operating table. Let's set the scene. UFC 327. Ulberg steps into the cage against Jiri Prochazka and pulls off an absolute stunner, ending things with a brutal first-round knockout. But here's the kicker. He did it on a shredded ACL. It's a legendary performance, sure, but it's also a massive headache for the UFC. Reports confirm the surgery is done, and the recovery timeline is looking like a full year on the sidelines. Of course, Prochazka had to chime in, claiming he showed mercy to an injured Ulberg and paid for it. To the fans, that sounds a lot like the classic loser's excuse playbook, especially since this is yet another high-stakes loss for Jiri. But big picture, this keeps the 205-pound division in total limbo. Think about the history here. Since Jon Jones vacated the belt in 2020, we've cycled through 6 champions in 6 years. From Prochazka's shoulder injury to Jamahal Hill's freak basketball accident, this belt is starting to feel like it's made of glass. We've seen vacant titles, draws, and constant movement. It's wild that a division once known for total dominance has turned into a game of musical chairs. So, what now? With Ulberg out for potentially 12 months, the UFC has to decide if they're going to force another interim belt or just let the division eat itself alive while waiting for the champ to return. They've got plenty of names: Ankalaev, Blachowicz, Hill, Rountree. But does the division really need another temporary crown? What do you think? Is the light heavyweight curse real, or is this just the brutal nature of the sport catching up to the division? Drop a comment below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more updates on this chaotic weight class. After all, if history has taught us anything, it's that the belt at 205 pounds never stays in one place for long. The octagon is heading north, and the stakes in Winnipeg are higher than the temperature outside. Welcome back to the breakdown. Tomorrow night at the Canada Life Centre, we're witnessing a fascinating clash of styles and career arcs as former title challenger Gilbert Burns looks to turn back the clock against the heavy-hitting hometown favorite, Mike Malott. We're talking about a main event that carries massive weight for the future of the welterweight division as we head into the back half of 2026. Let's be real about Gilbert Burns. At 39, closing in on 40, we have to ask the uncomfortable question: is he effectively a gatekeeper for the rising tide? He's been in the trenches against the absolute elite, guys like Bilal Mohammed and Jack Della Maddalena, but those losses have taken a toll, specifically that brutal exit against Michael Morales. Gilbert has the heart of a lion, and his ground game is world-class, but durability is a fickle thing in MMA. Once the chin starts to fade, it rarely comes back. Burns is playing it cool, saying he's going in there to have fun and showcase his skills, but deep down, he knows this is a crossroads fight. Then you have Mike Malott. Being the local hero in Winnipeg brings a specific kind of pressure, but Malott has thrived in these environments. He's 34, a potent wrestler with legitimate finishing power, and he's clearly hitting his athletic prime. The knock on Malott? He hasn't faced the gauntlet of killers that Burns has. However, that lack of mileage might actually be his greatest asset tomorrow night. I suspect we see a strong, technical start from Burns, but as the fight enters those deep, treacherous waters of the later rounds, expect Malott's freshness to overwhelm a shop-worn veteran. I'm predicting an unceremonious but definitive collapse for Jourdain, marking a changing of the guard. But that's not all. The bantamweight showcase between Charles Jourdain and Kyler, the Matrix, Phillips is an absolute barn-burner waiting to happen. Jourdain is looking like a different animal since dropping to 135. He's hungry, he's aggressive, and he's chasing that elusive third straight win, something he's never managed in the big show. Phillips, meanwhile, is desperate to stop a two-fight slide. He's got the pedigree, but he's fighting for his relevancy here. Jourdain's high volume, chaotic style is a nightmare for a fighter like Phillips, who has shown vulnerabilities under pressure. I'm betting the Matrix gets unplugged in a high-octane brawl that should be an easy candidate for Fight of the Night. Before you place your bets or head over to Paramount Plus, make sure you check out Andrew Richardson's full X Factor breakdown for the entire card and hit up our friends at FanDuel for the latest lines. The pressure is on, the lights are bright, and Winnipeg is ready to explode. Who are you picking to walk away with the win? Drop a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the world of MMA. Let's see who really steps up when the cage door shuts. Ever wonder what it feels like to reach the absolute pinnacle of your career, only to have your body betray you in the very same breath? That is the brutal reality facing the new UFC light heavyweight champion, Carlos Ulberg. This past Saturday at UFC 327, we witnessed one of the most jaw-dropping performances in recent memory. Ulberg dismantled Jiri Prochazka with a first-round knockout, but the story behind that finish is far wilder than we initially realized. It turns out, Ulberg was fighting through the agony of a torn ACL in his right knee, an injury that occurred moments before he secured the belt. It is the definition of a warrior mentality, but unfortunately, it comes with a heavy price. Reports from MMA Fighting and Yahoo! Sports have confirmed that not only was the ACL torn, but Ulberg also suffered significant bone bruising and tibia damage as he pushed through the remainder of that fight. He has already gone under the knife for surgery, and while he is on the road to recovery, the timeline is murky at best. We are talking about a standard 6 to 9 month recovery window just to get back to basic functionality, and that is before he even starts the grueling process of getting back into championship-level fighting condition. This leaves the UFC in a precarious position. Do they let him keep the belt while he heals, or do we see a move toward an interim title to keep the division moving? The uncertainty is frustrating, but it is also the nature of the sport. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update on the championship picture. At the end of the day, Ulberg proved he has the heart of a champion, but in this sport, sometimes the toughest opponent you face isn't standing across the cage. It's your own biology. Ever wonder what it takes to become a champion when your own body is literally falling apart? Carlos Ulberg just proved that greatness is often forged in the fires of pure, unadulterated pain. We all watched that jaw-dropping finish at UFC 327, but the real story is what happened underneath the surface. It turns out, Ulberg didn't just beat Jiri Prochazka, he did it on a shredded ACL. His manager, Ash Belcastro, recently confirmed the worst. That knee didn't just tweak, it snapped in the opening minutes of the fight. And if a torn ACL wasn't enough, he dealt with bone bruising and tibia damage, fighting through it all for several agonizing minutes. It is honestly mind-boggling. You could see it on screen, he was stumbling, his balance was shot, and Prochazka, being the predator he is, started hunting that leg with brutal low kicks. Most fighters would have folded, but Ulberg leaned into the chaos. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was baiting Prochazka, lulling him into a false sense of security until that legendary left hook connected. Ulberg later admitted the pain was unbearable, and his knee felt like it was slipping out of the socket with every step. To pull off a knockout of that caliber while your foundation is crumbling beneath you isn't just luck, it's grit on a level we rarely get to witness. He underwent successful surgery this week and is already laser-focused on his recovery. It's an absolute testament to his mental fortitude. What do you think? Does this performance go down as the toughest title win in UFC history? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the world of combat sports. Because at the end of the day, champions don't just fight their opponents, they fight their own limits.